Okay, good morning, and welcome to the second to last day. This is gonna be a shorter one because it's actually 10:15 at night for me, way past my bedtime, and I can't get all of it done, so I'm gonna split it in half. But when we last left them, Alicia and Bobby were texting back and forth, or instant messaging on a computer, and Bobby found out that there was a solar event similar to what happened the night he turned invisible. So Alicia's telling him to get a blanket, wrap around it, and see what happens. And I shut the whole thing down. The trouble with screen talking is it keeps going on and on until someone finally decides to get back to real life. And that's what I'm doing. I walk up to the front parlor, open the French doors slowly so they won't squeak and wake up Dad. He's got my blanket carefully folded into a suit box with the controller all reassembled, set to take to the lab in the morning. Because my blanket is a scientific artifact now. I pick up the box and wind my way through the dark house again, up the back stairs and into my room. I plug the blanket into the controller and put the controller right where it always sits on my bedside table. After I toss the feather comforter onto the floor, I spread the blanket out over the bed. Then I plug the control unit into the wall right where it was plugged in on that Monday night. And before I have a chance to chicken out, I close my door, shut off the light, peel down to my boxers, and climb under the covers. And with my right hand, I feel around in the dark until I find the controller, then the dial, and then the little switch. But I don't flip it. I can't. Because what will happen? Will I die? Those angry words I typed down in the den, are those the last words I'll ever say to Alicia? But I have to do something. I have to. And I do. I flip it on. A faint orange glow lights the dial, and I squint and set it to 5 right in the middle, just like always. Then I lie back on my pillow and pull the covers up so only my nose is sticking out into the chilly air, just like always. Except my mouth is dry and my chest is heaving. And I imagine the solar wind blowing the stardust around, trillions of energized particles bombarding the earth, radiation I can't see or feel. And then I imagine I can feel the X-rays and the gamma rays, feel them pinging on my eyelids, shooting through my skull, making the palms of my hands tingle like they've fallen asleep. And I'm under my blanket, and it's warm and toasty, and my heart is thumping, and my mind is racing, and I'm watching to see if the room starts to shimmer or glow. And I feel like an idiot. Like maybe I should start chanting some magic words. Because this whole thing is so ridiculous. I'm trying to recreate something that was probably a 1 in a billion event. I mean, it could have been a certain cloud above our house with some weird mix of pollution and chemicals in it from some power plant in Joliet. Maybe that cloud messed with the solar wind junk before it got to me sleeping in my bed. Or Dr. Van Horn could have just gotten the whole thing wrong. Maybe the two dates relate to some phenomena no one has ever discovered yet. Who says he and Dad know so much anyway? Their machines are big and shiny, and they whir and hum, but do they really know more than some Stone Age witch doctor with a rattle and a gourd full of ground-up frog bones? Years don't scare me much anymore. That's what Alicia just said. She's not wishing her life was different. She's dealing with the life she has. She's not trying to get back to how things used to be. How things used to be? I don't want that. Not exactly. I'll never be exactly like I was. I just want some choices back. Even Alicia's got choices to make. Not me, though. I have only two. Stay hidden or go public. And if I go public, instantly I'm a scientific oddity. Front page news. Two choices. And they both stink. 15 minutes by the clock and there's nothing. No unearthly glowing, no strange crackling sounds, no arcing electrical charges. Nothing. I feel like I should get up and go message Alicia. She probably thinks I'm turning myself into a gob of protoplasm or something. But it's 12:07 now. The digital thermostat has cut the temperature in the house back to 55, and I've been missing my good old blanket. It's too comfortable to get up and go downstairs again. Besides, that might mess up the big experiment, right? So I roll over onto my side and think about the things I'd like to say to Alicia. And after another 5 minutes or so, the Sandman's got me. That means he's asleep. Sandman. Ooh, we'll see what happens. Chapter 27. Search and Seizure. It's still dark, 4:30 a.m., but by my alarm clock, but loud voices. Mom's is the loudest. How dare you? This is outrageous. A man's voice, deep and a woman's, both too soft to hear. But I know that woman. It's Miss Paget. Footsteps up the front staircase, and fragments from an angry Miss Paget. Repeated warnings. New information. Search is fully warranted. Mom splutters something, and then it's the man who answers. Reports of light on late at night. The missing boy's room. The voices are coming from down the hall, and it's deep. It's the deep voice again. This is his room. My dad says, "Are we charged with some crime? This is harassment." The deep voice. "Step aside, sir." I'm out of bed now, and I've pulled off my boxers and tossed them under the open closet. This is bad. Too many people in a small room. Someone's going to bump me or step on me. And what if someone stays in the doorway? There's no escape. What about the blanket that's nice and warm on his bed? The door opens and a shape fills the opening and an arm reaches out for the light switch. I'm next to my desk, standing still. The overhead light blinds me and I take a deep breath and hold it. A bulky police officer comes into my room, steps quickly to the bed, and puts his hand palm down onto the mattress. He turns to Miss Paget in the doorway and says, "Still warm." Then he turns and looks at the papers and the cell phone on my desk, and he says, "What the?" He's looking at my desk, the list from Sears, and the cell phone, and with all those numbers in its memory. But there's nothing I can do, so I just stand still. He comes toward the desk, right toward me, and I'm ready to duck and roll, maybe get under the bed. And he looks me right in the eye and says, "Who are you?" I stand stock still. He's still looking into my eyes. I said, "Who are you?" Miss Paget is in the doorway. She's looking at me too, and behind her, Mom and Dad. I look down, and there I am. My body. Me. Oh, isn't he naked right now, though? Ew. I'm Bobby Phillips. And I'm naked, and I grab up a sweatshirt from the floor and use it to cover up. And I'm dazed, and I must look like an idiot because I can't stop grinning. Miss Paget has turned to face my mom, furious. What is going on here? Mom knows she has to say something to Miss Paget, but she keeps looking past her to smile at me. Then she focuses, takes a deep breath, and says, "What's going on? You want to know what's going on? You've just burst into my home and terrified my son, that's what. He got home from Florida late last night after a long train ride, and the last thing he expected was to have armed stormtroopers crashing into his room at 4 a.m. Well, why wasn't I notified of his return?" Miss Paget is still trying to sound tough, but she's already retreating, and Mom is on the attack. Why? Mom takes a step toward Miss Paget, and the lady flinches. Mom's voice is shrill. Why weren't you notified? Because this problem you've been trying to solve has never been any of your business, that's why. There's never been a real problem. You've tried to make our family's activities into the state's business, and you assume Bobby was lost or missing or who knows what. But we have never been uncertain about his safety or his whereabouts for 1 minute. And did you expect me to call you at home last night so you could meet him at the train for us? Miss Paget doesn't know what to say. We were only able to work with the information we had. And we appreciate that. Dad's turn. We know that you've been doing your job, and by your standards, you had reasonable cause for concern. And when my wife has had the rest of her sleep, I'm sure she'll be less angry than she is at the moment. Now, is there anything else we can do for you? Then, turning to the cop, Dad says, Officer, is there anything else you need to search for? The cop looks at Miss Paget, and he's embarrassed. He says, No, I think that does it, right? Miss Paget nods. Mom steps back, and Dad moves aside, and the policeman and Miss Paget walk out of my room, down the stairs, and out of the house. Here's the summary of what happens next. Hugs, kisses, some tears, some hot chocolate, more hugs, and a lot of talk. First, I explain about the ACE and the Soho websites, then about messaging Alicia and her double negative idea, and then how I just got the blanket, plugged it in, and got into bed. I don't tell them how my last thoughts were about Alicia. Dad almost flips out because he's never performed a big experiment without thinking about it for at least a year or two. The physicist is angry about me taking this step with such an incomplete assessment of the variables and the risk factors. But the father, he's proud about me being so bold. And both the physicist and the father are blown away with the results. But as I talk with Dad, I can see the wheels spinning in his head, and I know that the scientist is just itching to take the blanket and try it out on something else. Maybe a little white mouse. Mom won't let go of my hand. We're downstairs on the couch in the living room, and she keeps reaching over to push my hair up off of my forehead. My hair is a lot longer than it was a month ago, and she keeps tilting her head and smiling this goofy smile at me. I feel like her eyes are devouring my face. But you can only take so much of this kind of stuff, and after about a half an hour, I start yawning. And Mom can see me yawn. She can see I look tired. And she can see me smile when she says I ought to be back to bed. And Dad says, "But not under that blanket, please." And we all laugh, and that set off another round of hugs. Mom comes upstairs with me. She takes the blanket off my bed, folds it carefully, and puts it on my desk chair. Then she picks up the comforter off the floor, spreads it over me, and tucks me in. And she bends down, runs a hand through my hair, and gives me a kiss on the cheek. And I'm glad. Alone in the darkness before dawn, though I can't sleep. Much too excited. Today will be Thursday. I could get up at 6:45, shower, eat at 7:15, catch the bus at 7:37, go to school, and have a regular day. Regular Bobby having a regular day. But I don't think that's going to happen. There's some other stuff I need to take care of. I'm going to stop there because that'll leave us for the last reading. You guys will get it Monday. Woo! All right. See you later.